Greetings, YouTube. A long time ago, I can't even remember if it was third or fourth grade. That's a sign you're getting older. I got mauled by a dog. I still have a scar, the bridge of my nose from it, and the light hits it just right. You can still see the marks in my cheek. And if my mustache isn't here, you can see the split because the teeth came in and they split my lip wide open. Took 57 stitches to put my face back together. And I've often wondered if that was the source of the reason I love the number 57. But if I told you that because of that episode, I was afraid of dogs, or even if I said I was afraid of dogs over a certain size, you'd probably understand. In fact, most people would be completely and utterly accepting of that reasoning, that I was harmed by a dog in a very serious way. And because of that experience, I don't like dogs. So if you hear somebody in the minority community, if you're a white person, you hear someone in a minority community tell you they don't like cops, or they don't like banks, or they don't trust their government, or they don't like white people, it's the same thing. These people have been brutalized by those entities, just as I got myself brutalized by a dog. Now, I'm lucky. I'm not afraid of dogs. I've been bitten since then, and I'm still not afraid of dogs. I still don't hate them. I don't distrust them. But if someone who had gone through those experiences that I did and said they did, I'd understand it. And I understand why minority groups out there, how when they tell me, and I listen to them, and I read their words, and I hear their speeches, and I see their signs, and they say that they are afraid, that they hate those institutions. They despise the culture that has oppressed them and has been bigoted against them and has destroyed their entire communities for centuries. I understand. And I'm not going to say, well, I'm one of the good ones, because I've benefited from the institutions that they hate. And it doesn't matter if I've never said a racist thing, because I have. And it doesn't matter that I've never intentionally committed a racist act, because I did. Or it doesn't matter that I've benefited from a racist system, because I have. Even if I had a, if you'll pardon the pun, a lily white past, absolutely pure and untouched by any acts or references to racism. If I were raised in a vacuum, so I didn't even benefit from the systemic systems of racism in America that have benefited all white people, even if that were all true, I would still understand, because I listen to their words and I listen to their stories. And even though I have never experienced that, I can still understand that they have and why they hate groups out there, whether it's the cops or the government or the medical community or white people in general. I get it. And I can try to be the best ally possible, but if a black person looks at me someday and says, you people don't get it, I'm not going to correct him. I'm not going to say, whoa, hold on a second, I'm not one of those you people, because I am. I am the face of the group that has hurt their communities for centuries on this continent. 400 years of genocide and slavery and oppression. 400 years. We tried to wipe the Native Americans clean off this continent. And we did everything in our power to erase the cultural connections that black people had to their homeland. I mean, white culture doesn't really mean anything. It's like saying European culture. It's a wishy-washy, meaningless term. If somebody says, "What culture do I have?" Well, I say, well, I'm from Pennsylvania and I live in New England, and that would give people a reference of the kind of cultural environment I was growing up in. And that's still kind of diffuse. But I can tell you, well, I come from a German background, and I come from an English background, and I come from a Welsh background. Well, there's a lot of black people in America that can't tell you that detail because they don't know. Because we did everything in our goddamn power to make sure they didn't. So when a black person says they don't like an institution, or they don't like white people in general, I understand. I don't take it personally. Because I've benefited from the systems that they're pissed at. And I am the face of those institutions. I am the face of the people who did everything in their power to strip them of their wealth, of their culture, of their languages, of their religion. Everything. White people took everything away from them. And then we denied we did it. Again and again and again. And there are still white people doing it today. This all lives matter bullshit. The lost cause bullshit. The Confederate flag is my culture bullshit. So just like you'd understand why I don't like dogs, you have to understand why minority groups sometimes don't like white people, sometimes don't like the cops. So I'm with them with the cops thing. I really am. So understand that. Because even though none of the things they have experienced, you have experienced, doesn't mean you cannot understand and cannot support them and cannot help them when possible. We're not rich, but every month we donate. Just this past month we donated to the Black Lives Matter again. Because we can. Sure, it's only $50, but it's still $50. And if enough people do it, it makes a lot of money. So don't just listen to words, don't just comment in videos. Speak out against racism. Donate money. Listen. Learn. Be the best ally you can. If you're really white like me, somebody says they hate white people, don't correct them. Don't say, well, I'm not one of those. Just accept the reality of their existence. Don't take it personally.